Imagine the ultimate royal family facing a violent, bloody coup. The giants are storming the golden gates of Olympus. The gods are actually losing. Zeus throws his massive lightning bolts, but it is not enough. The divine army is getting pushed back to the brink of total collapse. They need a miracle. They need a mortal asset. Enter Heracles. He is the mortal bastard child of Zeus. He steps up onto the burning battlefield, crushes the giants, and saves the divine throne. You would think he gets a medal for this. A permanent seat at the table. A massive divine promotion. Wrong. In the toxic politics of Olympus, showing up the queen of the gods is a guaranteed death sentence. Hera is deeply humiliated. A mortal bastard just did exactly what her own pure-blooded gods could not. Her paranoia spikes to an all-time high. To reassert her absolute supremacy, she doesn't just want Heracles dead. Death is far too easy. Death makes him a martyr. She wants him broken. She wants to turn his greatest asset, his unstoppable physical strength, into his eternal curse. But Heracles does not know this. He thinks his military contract with the gods is officially over. He returns down to the mortal realm, to the wealthy, powerful city of Thebes. He marries Princess Megara. They have beautiful children. He builds a comfortable, quiet life based on a massive, fatal assumption. He thinks the gods are fair. Heracles hangs up his heavy weapons. He thinks he is a retired hero. He thinks the ledger is finally balanced. But let's clarify the actual mythological timeline. A mortal asset is never allowed to retire. They are only put on standby. Hera watches from above, letting him get highly comfortable. She lets him deeply love his family. This is a cold, calculated political move. Because you cannot break a man who has nothing to lose. You have to give him the entire world. You let him hold it in his hands. And then, you force him to destroy it himself. Hera waits for the perfect moment. She waits until his guard is completely down. Hera finally strikes. She does not send an army of assassins to his house. That is too straightforward. She sends madness. It sneaks into his brain like a slow-acting poison. One night, Heracles is sitting peacefully by the warm hearth. Megara is laughing with their children. Suddenly, the shadows in the room stretch. The temperature drops to freezing. The faces of his wife and kids warp and twist monstrously. In his infected, hijacked mind, they are no longer his loving family. They are brutal assassins sent by his political enemies. "Get behind me!" Heracles roars, drawing his heavy sword. "I will protect you!" Megara backs away, terrified. Heracles, put the sword down. You are scaring the children. He doesn't hear her. "I am saving them," he screams. His protective instincts, the exact heroic traits that made him a savior, are inverted and weaponized against him. He attacks the shadows. The guards of the palace hear the terrifying screams, but they cannot stop him. "Lord Heracles, stop! It is your wife!" a loyal guard yells. Heracles backhands the guard through a solid stone wall. How do you restrain the strongest man on earth? You do not. You just hide. When the blood-red mist finally clears from his vision, Heracles drops his sword. The assassins are gone. Megara and his children lie dead on the stone floor, slain by his own hands. Hera didn't just take his family. She made him the murderer. The psychological devastation is absolute. Heracles is a hollow shell of a man. He runs away into the wild, desperate for a way to clean the blood off his fractured soul. He travels to the Oracle of Delphi. "Tell me how to fix this," he pleads, his voice cracking with grief. "I will pay any price. I will fight any war." The Oracle smiles a cold, divine smile. "No wars," she says. "Submit. Surrender your freedom to King Eurystheus for 12 years. King Eurystheus is Heracles' cousin. He is also a weak, paranoid, pathetic ruler who is absolutely terrified of Heracles' power. When Heracles arrives at his royal court, Eurystheus literally hides inside a giant bronze jar buried in the floor. He issues his orders trembling from inside the jar. "You belong to me now," Eurystheus echoes from the dark. "You are my property." Making Heracles his personal slave is the ultimate political humiliation. Eurystheus does not want Heracles to succeed. He wants him dead. So he designs the 12 labors. But let's get one critical thing straight. History gets this completely wrong. These were not grand adventures. They were not glorious quests. They were a targeted execution plan. It was a suicide mission disguised as redemption. Eurystheus points Heracles at the apex predators of the ancient world. These are the natural barriers stopping human expansion. The first target is the Nemean lion. It is a beast with skin that iron weapons cannot pierce. Heracles does not use a sword. He traps it in a dark cave and strangles it to death with his bare hands. Then comes the Lernaean Hydra. This is where the major strategic shift happens. Heracles stops fighting like an honorable hero. He starts fighting like a ruthless mercenary. The Hydra has 9 venomous heads. Cut one off, 2 grow back. "We are losing ground. It is multiplying," screams his nephew, Iolaus, holding a torch in the toxic swamp. "Then burn it," Heracles commands. "Burn the wounds to the ash." As Heracles chops through bone and scale, Iolaus burns the bloody stumps to stop the rapid regeneration. Scorched earth tactics. Then Heracles does something highly illegal in the rules of honorable combat. He dips his arrows into the Hydra's toxic blood. He weaponizes the monster's corpse. He becomes a walking biological weapon himself. Next is the Ceryneian hind, a sacred deer incredibly fast. Heracles doesn't use magic. He just chases it for an entire year. Pure, stubborn, terrifying endurance. He isn't seeking glory. He is working with the cold, dead efficiency of a state exterminator. Then Eurystheus tries to humiliate him with the Augean stables. He orders Heracles to clean 30 years of toxic manure in one day. King Augeas laughs at him. "You, the great savior of Olympus, shoveling my manure?" Heracles doesn't argue. He doesn't pick up a shovel. He literally breaks the banks of 2 massive rushing rivers and violently washes away the stables, the filth, and half the king's property in a single afternoon. He is operating as a blunt instrument of the state, but the true loss of his heroic nobility happens with the mares of Diomedes. King Diomedes owns 4 massive horses that eat human flesh. He feeds his political prisoners to them. A classic hero would slay the horses and spare the king. Not Heracles. He has no time for diplomacy. He rips King Diomedes from his throne and feeds him alive to his own starving horses. The horses eat their master, become calm, and Heracles simply walks away with them. Later, he is sent to steal the belt of the Amazon queen, Hippolyta. It is a pure political mission. Hippolyta actually agrees to give him the belt peacefully. They share a mutual respect as warriors. "Take it," she says. "You have earned it." But Hera disguises herself as an Amazon and spreads a violent rumor that Heracles is kidnapping the queen. The Amazons attack. Heracles, blinded by his own trauma and thinking he was betrayed again, glares at Hippolyta. "Nobody is honest, not even you," he says. He slaughters her and takes the bloody belt. The tragedy is relentless. He trusts no one. He is fully broken. Finally, he walks down into the underworld, looks the god of the dead in the eye, and drags the 3-headed dog, Cerberus, into the mortal sunlight. When Heracles brings the hellhound to the palace, King Eurystheus screams in terror and dives back into his giant bronze jar. He refuses to come out. The 12th labor is officially done. The impossible debt is paid in full. Heracles is technically absolved. His soul is clean. He is a free man. But step back and look at the map. Look at the catastrophic unintended damage he left behind. Before the labors, the map of Greece was wild, untamed, and extremely dangerous. Monsters lurked in every swamp, forest, and mountain pass. These beasts were terrifying, yes, but they served a highly critical political function. They kept the demigods busy. By surviving the execution plan, Heracles accidentally broke the entire mythological world. He eradicated the external threats. The rivers are safe to cross. The forests are clear for logging. Trade routes are wide open for merchants to transport goods. The world is geographically safe for human politics and massive economic expansion. But there is a massive, glaring problem. Let's call it genetic obsolescence. The weapons still exist. The world is now packed with demigods. Men with divine blood, extreme strength, and high violence in their veins. They were genetically bred by the gods to fight monsters. Now, there are no monsters left to fight. So what exactly happens to a highly trained, violently capable military asset when you take away their core mission? They get bored. They get incredibly greedy. The heroic code rots from the inside out. The noble protectors transition into greedy warlords. They form heavily armed gangs. Why protect this weak village for free when we can just conquer it and take their gold? They ask. The violence in the world does not magically stop. It just turns inward. They stop hunting beasts and start hunting each other. They become mercenaries, selling their divine strength to the highest bidding mortal king. This is the brutal, hidden irony of the 12 labors. Heracles cleared the board. He saved humanity from the monsters, only to turn humanity's own heroes into the new monsters. We see the direct political fallout almost immediately in the mythic timeline. The demigods start fighting over mortal politics, trade routes, and stolen wealth. This specific power vacuum leads straight to the bloody civil war known as the Seven Against Thebes, where heroes slaughter each other at the city gates just for a mortal throne. And it sets the ultimate stage for the total destruction of the Trojan War. Hera won. Her revenge was absolute. She didn't just break the savior of Olympus. She used him to completely collapse the heroic age. Removing a shared enemy does not create peace. It just changes the target. If you want to see exactly how these bored, greedy demigods completely burned down the greatest city of the ancient world, hit the subscribe button right now and watch our next video on the real cutthroat politics behind the Trojan War.